hypothesis is what I thought initially. So lumbar radiculopathy, due to the findings of right-sided calf pain, burning, tingling in the history and during active range of motion, found with active range of motion, pain in the calf with flexion, extension, side bending to the right, and and with muscle guarding, which is expected with multi-joint facet stenosis and arthrosis. So every time the facet downglides, the patient is experiencing pain from a decreased facet space pushing on the nerve root of L5. So because of my dermatome, myotome, and reflex testing, it more isolated it to L5, even though I have a feeling multiple nerve roots could be affected here. So the extensor hallucis longus is L5 and the lateral calf is L5. And then it is generally limited, so that's probably a 2 out of 6 for forward bending, side bending, and rotation and multiple lumbar segments. So my final hypothesis would be for stenosis would be L4, L5 stenosis compressing the L5 nerve root, causing radiculopathy down into the leg and decreased sensation over the lateral calf and weakness of the extensor hallucis longus. My plan of care would be to first try to settle the patient down, since the patient has been experiencing these symptoms for 3 months. It's been getting worse, it seems like, because now they're experiencing tingling the last 4 weeks. So I would say that although it's been 3 months, it might be, I'd call it subacute, but I want to calm it down more and kind of get more control of these symptoms. So I would try to help the patient with some pain management by maybe doing some distraction, maybe some electric stimulation to help with pain, and maybe doing some flexion exercises to help open up the lumbar spine facets, especially considering that is what helps the patient feel better. Then once the patient has settled a little bit more and the pain has decreased a bit, I would work on strengthening the multifidus to help with lumbar stabilization, and I'd also want to strengthen the surrounding musculature. Likely the rector spinae are weak, quadratus lumborum could be weak, transversus abdominis is likely weak, so I would strengthen musculature around the lumbar spine, and I would provide patient education to help with posture corrections, to help with the flexed hips and rounded shoulders. I would also stretch the hip flexors, because the hip flexors are tight, which is why I have found at the structural inspection that he had a slight 10-degree hip flexion and increased lordosis. So I'm going to try to address that by maybe providing some soft tissue mobilization to the lumbar spine to help kind of reduce some of the increased tone, and maybe some muscle guarding in the lumbar spine, reducing some of the range of motion actively and passively there, and also help free up the increased lordosis to kind of make it the appropriate amount of lordosis, and take some pressure off the facets. So because the increased lordosis causes increased extension, which closes the facets. And that's the last thing they need right now. So I would strengthen the muscles that are weak, lengthen the hip flexors, provide soft tissue mobilization to the lumbar spine, and provide patient education to help with proper posture, to help take stress off of the facets and open up the facets a bit more. I'd also do some nerve glides of the sciatic nerve to help with nerve mobility, helping me relieve some of the nerve pain.